In this video, I would like to share the process of checking the virtual machine name if is providing the virtual machine name in the service booker form in the catalog item. So the use case is that we would check for the duplicate name. We'll check in the backend system if the machine with the same name already exists. It could be vSphere, it could be maybe ServiceNow CMDB, or it could be AD. So whatever is your source of truth, we would go there and check. But I will not focus on that part. I'll rather focus on the rest of the functionality. Once you get that sorted, you can obviously that's a different part of the story. You can for vSphere you can have list all VMs and then do a for loop and check, and likewise for maybe ServiceNow CMDB, etc. But from VRA perspective, what things would have to do to make this whole process work? So first of all, you would have to create a service booker, uh, a VRO action basically for the service booker external source validation. So what we have done here is we have created an action, check VM name exists, and then if the VM name is not there, it would return false. Otherwise, it would return true. So it's returning Boolean. So this is step number one. Then we would have to go to the design, and in the design, you would have to add two inputs. One input would be the VM name, which would be of type string, and there would be another input called duplicate VM name check. It should be the type Boolean, and it should be binded with the action that we have created in VRO. And we should pass the VM name, so that input is binded with that action. Now we have these two inputs. Uh, we would have to create a custom property by the name VM name, and I'll come to that why we need that. So there are two parts to this story. One is to have that duplicacy check, and then also to have that name, the user provided name, to be applied to the virtual machine. And for that, we would leverage the event-based subscriptions. So for that, I have added a property called custom hostname equals true. And also there is, because in the custom properties for, and we will be triggering this during the compute allocate pre. And the problem is that even if you put the name equals input dot VM name here, in that custom property, you wouldn't find that name property. So we, for that reason, we should use a different a custom property. So here I'm using VM name, and I've binded that input VM name, and this custom host name true for triggering the EBS. Close that. Uh, Here, what you can do is you can release a version so that it could be synchronized. So as a we want to run it from the catalog, so you would have to release the version. That is step number two. Step number three again is that you would have to create a subscription, and then maybe like rename VM name, or rename VM, whatever. You would set it with compute allocate, and then that custom property condition here. So the host name should equal true, and the action will bind that action, the workflow, sorry. So yeah, now the fourth part, which is to have a workflow. So I actually rather I should have shown you the workflow first. So this is the workflow: rename VM using form input, and it's basic, just a simple input for the input properties to get in, and then the resource names, which is to feed the output to the custom properties and the compute allocate parameters. So it's basic here. We just initialize the array, the resource names, and we set the value to resource names 0 equals the value coming from VM name in the custom property. So why 0? Because VM exists on 0th position. So that's step number three. Actually, the step number four would be this one. So you would create a new subscription with compute allocate, put the condition, attach the workflow, set it to blocking, because we want to update the resource names which will be coming from the VRO workflow. For that reason, we have to set it to blocking. That's that. Step number five would be to then, as you have updated the YAML blueprints, you would have to go to the content policies, and you would have to, sorry, you have to content sources. You would have to update your template content source. Otherwise, it won't detect the changes. And then you would have to uh, see the latest. Sorry, the latest. I'm working on this one. So you see, it's not enabled yet, or rather published yet. So I would go here, and I would add these parameters. Now, the sneaky part. So basically, we don't want the user to see that we are doing that change, and that check rather, and how we are doing that check. So I will set this parameters visibility to no. It would be just to check whether the VM exists, whether the VM name exists in the backend or not. And there is no binding here. There is no external binding here. It's already done because we have done it in the blueprint itself. So you don't have to do anything extra. what would you have to do here, extra here is, now what we want is, as soon as user provides the VM name here, let's say test VM01, for example, it should throw an error as soon as it sees that the VM name, a name by that name already exists in the backend. So for that, what you have to do is you have to go to the regular expression and set the value source to conditional. And in the if condition, you would have to select this duplicate check, the Boolean parameter. And if it's true, then it's a problem. That means that there's a duplicate name. So what we can do here is duplicate, we can just say as a error message, duplicate VM name found. That's understandable enough that why it's blocking, because there's a duplicate name. So user will know that he has to change the VM name. So let me check again. I've set the visibility to no, and we have set the condition to regular expression to this. Oh, why it went away? Duplicate VM name. I think that's a problem here. You would have to save it before you could move. Duplicate VM name found. So let's just say submission blocked, or maybe uh, try another name or whatever you want. Could be anything, whatever is customer friendly. Duplicate VM name found. Try another name. Okay, save. Go to consume catalog. So this is our catalog item. So the deployment name is automatically populated. What I want to show is that in the backend, I want just for a test purpose, in the VM name, if the machine is by this name, test VM01, it would return false. Sorry, it's a my bad. It's a false condition. So if the machine is by this name, it would return true. If not, then only it return false. So obviously, in your code, you would have to change this piece of code with your custom logic, but the rest would be same. Okay, so now let's see how it behaves. Okay, so test VM01. As soon as I put that invalid format, duplicate VM name found. Try another name, which is fair enough. So if I click submit here, it would ask us to correct the error first. So which is the intended use case. So what I can do is let's just put 10 here, test VM010, and as soon as I submit, uh, obviously it will take some time, but as soon as I submit and it would start creating the VM, it should pick this name and not anything else. So let's see. I probably will put it on pause so that we can, move to the once it's done. So let me pause that. So as you can see, the VM name is now test VM10. Again, what user provided. So it worked.